Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Math Club. In this video, we're going to talk about Graphs 2, Exercise 4, Question 1. Find the equation of the lines with A, gradient 2, and passing through the origin, and then gradient -3, and passing through the point 2 and 0. Now, first, we're going to work on this one. To find the gradient of a line, we're going to use the formula or the general formula of the line equation, or the general equation for the line, which says what? It says y equals mx plus c. Now, this is the general formula. Now, we know that the m is what? The m is the gradient. Very good. The m is the gradient. And here we know that the gradient is +2. So we're going to put the +2 instead of the m, like this. And then we know that it's passing through the origin. And the origin point is what? The origin point coordinates is 0 and 0. So 0 and 0. Good. So the origin point, because it's has an x with a 0, so the y is a 0. So this one is the y-intercept. So we know that the y-intercept. Now the y-intercept means what? It means that the x is 0. So when the x is 0, the y coordinate will give you the y-intercept. So we're going to put the y-intercept instead of the c, because we know that the y-intercept is the c. And the general formula is used to find line equations or equations for lines. So we're going to substitute these numbers instead of the letters. So we're going to put 2 instead of the m. So for question A, the answer will be what? It's going to be y equals, we know that m is 2, so we put 2, and then we put the x, and the c is 0, so we put +0. And then the 0, we don't have to write it, so y equals 2x. And that's the answer for question A. Now, let's move on to question B. We're going to use the same idea. We're going to use this formula to answer the question. So y equals mx plus c. We can write it here so we can work on it. So y equals mx plus c. Same idea. M is the gradient, and c is the y-intercept. M is the gradient, and c is the y-intercept. Now, we know that the gradient is -3. So we're going to take -3, put it instead of the m. And the y-intercept, the x must be 0. But we don't know what is the point that is going through the y-intercept. So we need to find the y-intercept so we can find c. Now, we're going to use this point here with the equation to find c. So we're going to say this is the x, which is 2, and the y is 0. This is the x, and this is the y. So I'm going to use this point here and the gradient to find c. I know that y is 0, so I'm going to write 0 equals m equals -3, so I'm going to write -3. And then the x is what? The x is 2. So I'm going to write times 2 because they are multiplied by each other. And then plus c. Now, I'm trying to find c. 0 equals -3 times 2 plus c. I'm going to put 0 the same, equals -3 times 2 equals, very good, -6. And then plus c. Then I'm going to take the -6 to the other side. And because it's negative on this side, it's going to be positive on the other side. So it's going to be +6. So 6 or +6 equals c. So c equals, very good, 6. Now, I know that c equals 6 here. And I know the gradient, or m, is -3. Now, I can come back to this equation and substitute the value of c and the value of m and write the equation of the line. So I'm going to say y equals, I know m equals -3, so I'm going to write -3 and then x, and then plus c. I know that c is 6, so I'm going to write 6. And this is the answer for question B. And that's how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.